Right. So we rejoin our companions just outside of the Gilded Main, where you've already paid for a couple weeks' stay for Party Steed, Little Joe. Anath is off handling that, while the three of you are getting ready to do whatever it is you're going to do. It is early afternoon right now. You got an early start this morning, trekking down the mountains, made it back to town in a single day because you weren't fighting a blizzard, and you knew the way.
So we've already dealt with Little Joe, then, and we're kind of okay.
Mm-hmm. Anath is off handling that.
Well, what do we think is the most pressing thing? Are we just going to maybe look out for the tower on our way back to the city, or do we want to be more quickened in our pace?
Well, I think that Albatinde has been very gracious to offer us more work. I think we should see to it as quickly as we can.
City didn't really have much more to offer in terms of profitable work.
I suppose, but I thought we wanted to make sure that we secured the dragon figurine just in case it is what we think it is.
Probably a good idea. Also, just to check back in.
It
I
is.
feel like they won.
It is roughly on the way, though. We could keep an eye out, but maybe not stick around too long.
Yeah, the general location that Albatende gave you for where she believes she tracked the Tower 2 was in the general direction of Zemali, or Crystal Harbor on the keep calling the city after the bay. I know my own lore. It was in the general direction of Crystal Harbor from where you are now, but it's not on the main road.
Yeah.
It's south of the road, right?
Well, we're in Sten's Gap, and then we gotta go south. But you would go like kind of southeast to Crystal Harbor, and then kind of like southwest-ish to where she pointed out on the map, I think.
Exactly. It's up in so you'd follow the river from Sten's Gap to Crystal Harbor, but this would just be plowing straight through some of the shifting wood and into the foothills of the Gilded Peaks.
So we'd kind of have to do like a little loop to go back to Crystal Harbor.
I see. Well, since the dragon is pertinent and the tower's probably not going anywhere, perhaps a stop in town is the right call. Especially because maybe we can pick up another bounty while we're there, earn a little bit more coin.
Did we ever get back to the Bauble store about their missing shipment?
No, we didn't.
That's probably something we should do while we're there. Not that it would have been nice to have found more of it, but, you know. So we stopped by Crystal Harbor for a tad and then head on to the glacier.
Yeah, so it'd be about so Crystal Harbor is about a day or two's travel from Sten's Gap on foot, a little bit faster if you can get a boat and go down the river. If speed is of essence.
We interested in going by boat?
How much would it cost to rent a boat and head downriver?
If you're lucky, there'd be like a cargo barge that's departing that you could hop on for a few copper, but if there isn't one, it'd be more of a purchasing of a small canoe situation for what would probably be a double-digit number of gold pieces.
Let me see. If only all of us were aquatic in nature.
Oh, I'm sorry that I am unable to follow your lead. Wait, she said.
No, that's I'm. All I mean is, we all have our own strengths. Like I'm not resistant to cold, but I'm resistant to something else.
Damn it.
We're doing this again.
Let's see if there's a cargo barge. I think the canoe might be a bit more than I'm willing to spend at this point.
All right. Yeah, somebody roll me a D100. Tell me what you get.
Okay. Uh, 59.
59. Yeah, y'all spend a little bit of time inquiring around at some of the different docks. This not a huge centralized area, just more some of the individual businesses that have a building that's built on the river do their own shipping there, and a few take parcels for other individuals. But yeah, you are able to locate one shipment that is just about to pull away from the dock, maybe in a couple of hours. Looks like they're still getting things loaded up. And you would be able to book passage on that for 2 copper apiece down to Crystal Harbor from here.
That's a pretty good deal.
It's a good price.
Acceptable.
Yeah. There's a man in his, probably a human in his early 30s, who's seems to be overseeing things, getting things loaded onto the barge, barking, some instructions back and forth. Don't stack that on top of that. Put that over here, which will make more space if it goes this way. Giving directions to some of the dock hands. He said, the three of you're the passengers, they told me about. Great, we'll just wait here until we're done loading, and then hop on, and we'll get underway. Have you brought your own bed gear? It'll get cold at night on the water.
Oh, I don't get cold.
He doesn't. I wish I didn't get cold.
You see, my people have adapted to living in the bay.
I have no idea what I've adapted to.
Doing a bunch of acid.
Your people were just sitting in the corner eating puffer fish.
I have a bedroll. Does everybody else have?
Yes, I do have my own bedroll.
We I know it's a cargo barge. Is there like any way to use a spark without? Causing a fire on the barge?
It would. There's not a whole lot of places on this barge that are not made out of wood.
Fire on a ship is generally dangerous.
Generally, but you gotta test those bounds, right? Maybe.
Are you sure you're a water-faring people?
I don't know. I just painted myself blue, okay?
He blew himself. Oh my god.
Wow.
Right. So, is there anything you'd like to do in Sten's Gap in the hour or so that you've got before this barge pulls away?
I probably get a ration or something. Do they have how long is it just gonna take? The barge passage?
In the barge, depending on a couple of factors, you could be arriving in the middle of the day tomorrow.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we can get like a ration of some sort, I imagine.
Yeah, and there's
One
all
or
kinds of
two.
places.
Benson's General.
Yes. Benson's would have some. They'd probably have some at the Orvane.
I mean, if we're picking up food for the journey, why not pick up fresh food?
Oh, I could go for some like fresh bread or even something sweet.
Yeah, we can have a meal, but I mean, yeah. Just don't have that many rations. Gotta prepare.
No, better to have some than to need it and not.
Yes,
I've just been eating an ass like granola bar things.
Yeah, heading over to go see Benson's General Store, pick up a few rations. Don't need to worry about the cost. That's within your lifestyle expenses. A day's rations if you need any more than that. I think, what are they, gold a piece or something like that?
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think so.
You said the barge was 2 copper as
Yep.
well? Okay. Remove and
Yeah, I'd say all of you who've spent any time around here, especially those of you who've been like upriver of Crystal Harbor, would know that the people who still ship on the river are very keen to take on passengers for a small fee. It's generally pretty safe, but the only people who need to travel in a hurry tend to be rather competent individuals, and if anybody were to try and interfere with the barge and it's fair travel down the river, well, then you've got guards who paid you to be there. Right.
There. If anybody attacks, we'll be like, come on, do it. I can still swim, can you?
All right, so pocket rolls, freshly restocked. Loading up on the
go
board.
for a food, a fresh meal.
I think that would be quite nice, especially at least for this evening, right? We've been traveling through the mountain, and Elvatende was very nice, but I don't think she was that much of a cook.
Her castle was completely barren except for some remnants of furniture that was too big for someone to abscond with.
Did we give away all the goat meat, or did we eat that all? Is that still?
It's still good because you've been on the top of a mountain, but now that you've come down off of that, what you do have is going to be rather short-lived. But for the moment, it's still good.
Well, how about we bring it to the Orvane? We'll allow them to just take it and cook a feast for everyone.
Oh, in exchange for us to also have a meal, yes, that would be. Let's do that. I would like to get this off of my person before we leave.
Now that it is warming up, I've noticed your pack is dripping a little bit.
It's like a splotch on the side.
It just looks like a murder scene.
It's fine.
Yeah. So you bring that to Toman at the Orvane?
Yeah, I think we like walk in, and Cam is very yeah, she's kind of just carrying herself very confidently towards the bar, and
Yeah,
she's like,
as you kind of Alexandra gives you like a little bit of a confused look because you left here like 15 minutes ago.
How much did you say you had left?
I have like 13 pounds.
That's a decent amount.
We're feeding the whole town tonight.
Yeah. Just like one big like leg.
Yeah, so she's gonna like go to the bar. She kind of like plops this bag that is kind of dripping now onto the counter. It's just like, we just had an idea.
You're Toman, this dwarvish gentleman behind the counter, looks at you. Miss, your bag's leaking there on the counter.
Oh, very sorry about the mess, but I think I have something that you might be interested in. We have a lot of fresh meat, and we're looking to offload it somewhere, maybe in exchange for a meal of some sort.
Oh yeah, let's see it then.
And she kind of like I imagine it's kind of like a long big bag, and so she like opens it at the top and she lets her peer inside.
That's a nice looking piece of, what is that, goat?
Yes, it's probably very tender too.
Very fresh mountain goat.
Yeah, well, we'll be cooking that up. We'll probably have that. That's gonna need a few hours. We can get started on that.
Oh,
that'll make a nice entree at the at dinner tonight.
We unfortunately can't stick around that long. Do you have anything ready to go for us?
Oh yeah, a bit of a trade, sure. Shame you can't stay for it. This is going to be a fine roast. Yeah, let me see. Just the two of you, or did you go as well, Wade?
Yes.
Right.
I would like food.
One food, please.
Please, sir. Can I have some food?
Yeah, let me see what I can wrap up for you. We got some things going in the back. You looking to take this traveling, I take it?
Well, yes. But we've grown tired of, dried and oversalted preserves.
I'll see what I can scare up for you. And he goes off back into the kitchen, and you just want to wait for him to come back.
Cam's gonna like awkwardly smile at anyone who's at the bar where she just made a mess.
There's this like kind of older elvish looking man with kind of a bluey gray pallor to his skin who scoots a little bit further away from you, and you like this wet slap of this bag comes down, and it's like,
I'll make sure that they clean it once I leave.
just kind of, he doesn't regard you. But
I'll turn that frown upside down once he gets a whiff of that fresh roast.
But after a few moments, Toman comes back. He's got 3 little bundles, one for each of you. Got a nice little selection of things in there. Some fresh bread, a bit of smoked fish. It's not smoked till it's dry. It's kind of smoked just for flavor. A bit of cheese, and some fresh fruit. How's that sound for you?
Making my mouth water.
Delicious. Do you have anything to accompany it?
What, like an ale or
Beverage.
something?
What?
What?
Like something to drink.
Yes,
Now that I've got to sell you.
that's fine.
Yeah. Give me a water skin. We'll fill it up for the road.
You
Oh.
don't have a fine bottle tucked away somewhere?
Oh, you want some wine? Yeah, you got
Yes.
some. Right. Yeah, and he'll. There's a number of. How much would you like to spend on wine, Laris?
A couple of nice bottles, whatever it costs.
All right. Yeah. So, for the total of 5 gold pieces, you can get 2 pretty nice bottles of wine.
That works for me.
Pretty and nice. A combo.
Yeah, that label design is.
Yeah.
Or wingdings.
Yeah.
Oh, is that silver leaf wine?
I know this is not silverleaf wine. This is what is this? It's a little dusty. Don't get a lot of wine orders up here, to be quite honest. More of an ale crowd.
Yes. Well, the finer things in life sometimes is worth the expense.
I couldn't agree more. Cam's eyes like go wide at that sentiment.
All right. Excuse me.
Our DM's dying, everyone. Sorry.
It's true. I'll make it through the episode though, just for you.
The
Right.
least you could do. Okay, dude.
I'd say if
Totally
anything,
kidding.
you owe us this.
Right. Freshly
I'm just
stocked
being a
on
dick.
wine and provisions.
Yes. All right, let's head to the ship then.
Head to the ship.
Unless anyone else had anything.
Cam is going to hook her arms into Wade's arm and head out the door.
All right.
This is where we break out into skipping, right?
I assume the whole like goat thing has been transferred and she has her pack back. She doesn't just leave it there.
All right. Aboard the vessel, you see it just this gentleman now just overseeing the very last box getting lashed down, and waves up and shouts from as soon as he enter his line of sight. We're just about to pull away. You're just in time. Come on, load up on the barge here.
Yeah, running now.
Lyris is still very casual. Just
I don't run.
I do. I just don't do it when I don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, I am a ranger, but
It's kind of like a Jack Sparrow situation where at the very last second you kind of like step off onto the boat, but like not
yeah,
reverse.
like as it's pulling away, he's like stepping onto the gangplank. And perfectly timed.
Right. Right. Well, make yourself comfortable. I suppose there's not a lot of places to sit around here. But my name is Leaf Redstream. It's good to meet you. We'll be hopefully in Zemali tomorrow, or Zemali will be near towards the bay tomorrow. I know my own lore, guys.
Well, to be fair, the river does feed into the Bay of Zemali.
It does, but they're stopping before that.
I tried to help you.
I refuse.
Denied.
Well, we should be in town tomorrow midday. If everything goes smoothly, just make yourself as comfortable as you can and try not to fall in.
Oh, falling in wouldn't be an issue for me.
Well, barge doesn't stop, so just keep that in mind.
I wonder if I could keep up with it.
Probably the main advantage of going by barge is that you can sleep while you're still moving.
Right.
Sleeping and moving, guys. We're sleeping and moving.
So
All
won't
right.
you get all of your stuff wet?
Well, what's the problem with that?
Oh, well, there's so many things on my persons that I would not want to get wet.
Such as what?
My glitter, for one. If I got all wet, then it would begin to clump.
Oh. So you don't go in the water ever?
Well, I'm not unprepared.
You have like special water glitter?
Oh no, I mean like in my bag. If I were to fall in the water and things were to get into my glitter, it would start to clump and not be good anymore. Same with my rations.
Just prepare by placing your belongings somewhere else or stealing them from the water.
That's a smart idea, actually. Maybe I shouldn't have my backpack on me if I'm going to be on this boat and there's a chance of me falling in. And she's just like becoming like more and more concerned with her stuff now.
I do believe there are magic bags that transport the belongings to like a separate dimension so that they wouldn't get wet if the bag falls in the water.
That would be useful. I just personally put my rations in these waterproof tins, and he's like holding one up.
Oh, that is very prepared of you.
Spent half of my life in the water. Some of it on the water, and then that's, some of it out of the water entirely.
Is that the Supperware brand? The tin?
Bonk.
I'm not quite sure who made it. I bought it from the store in Crystal Harbor, so they're available to the public.
Yes, fine tinsmith, Jedediah Sup.
Sup, Jedediah? Oh boy.
All right. The boat or the barge starts to float its way down the river. It's pretty smooth right now. One of the reason that Sten's Gap's like center of town is built where it is that it's the northernmost navigable portion of this river, is close to the mines and the mountains as you can get by boat. It's just a little bit narrow. Going down after about an hour or so of travel, it opens. The river opens up a lot, and the barge it slows down during this portion, but is continuing to meander its way closer towards the bay as the sun sets. It's really quite a beautiful sight out here on this boat, watching the sun go down over the shifting wood, the river flowing in front of you. Would anybody like to do anything at this time?
I think if we're like going along the shifting wood, Cam is like looking over it and just kind of enjoying any colors that seem to like streak across the leaves and stuff. I think just like after her dream, she's now just very aware of like her father's presence over the woods.
Make a perception check for me.
Not awesome. 11.
There's just so much to see and so much to look at, and all of it's gorgeous. Nothing in particular catches your eye. They're just struggle to take everything in because there's so much to look at.
If we have, since we have the time to just kind of observe, I think Lyris would also be kind of watching for any signs of monstrous creatures, as he has been hunting in this area for quite a while. He's just used to looking for trouble.
Yeah, make a perception check for me.
Ooh. What is my perception? That's a 24.
Ooh. Ooh, that is pretty good. Keeping the weather eye out for any sort of monstrous creatures that might be traveling in the woods. Being used to this area, one of the things to keep an eye out for is the color of the foliage, as it marks the travel of many different kinds of creature, and it's just ever so faint, as just the trees and the bushes that are sticking out into the river that you notice, Lyris, just ever so mildly take on a tinge of gold as your barge passes by.
Oh. Interesting. Does anyone else see that shifting of gold out there?
Do we?
So it's a good question. Now that he points it out, you can kind of make it out. It's one of those things that it's kind of hard to see if you're looking right at it. You kind of got to catch it out of your periphery.
A little bit, maybe.
Well,
Is there like a color key to these woods?
Well, there is actually. I've been taking notes on it as I go about, and to my knowledge, gold signifies a celestial.
Cam is like looking harder. She's like, I believe Lyris is correct in that.
Is that a good thing?
I mean, well, I'm a celestial. Is that a good thing? Well, sort of.
It does mean it's unlikely that whatever is causing it is trouble to us, which is nice.
Is it moving slow or fast?
Seems to be sticking with the boat.
I think it might be following us, actually.
From Cam's dream, the hue that was approaching her in the woods was gold, right?
Yes.
I think that we are probably safe.
Yes, which is nice, but I was actually kind of hoping for a monster.
Are you feeling a bit bored, Lyris?
Well, as you know, I have long-term goals, and if I stop training even for a day, then that's another day taken away from my progress.
Well, maybe Wade and I can help you train.
I appreciate that, but my fighting style is rather violent, and I wouldn't want to accidentally cause harm.
She seems like she's about to say something and then just kind of bites her tongue. I understand.
You don't think I could hurt you, do you?
I wasn't trying to be rude or anything.
He puts his fists on his hips and looks up at her. Lyris is not a tall man.
I've just really trained myself to be protected, at least from physical harm.
Yes, as have much of my quarry, and I get around them just fine.
Again, I wasn't trying to cause any sort of insult.
Well,
I mean, if y'all want to duke it out, let me know. We can roll up some PvP real quick.
I can make it difficult for you to hit me.
But I suppose if you did manage to land a hit, that I would probably be in a lot of pain. So I understand if you don't want to.
Well, that was my point, is that I would prefer not to cause you suffering. and I guarantee you I'd be able to hit you.
She goes, "Oh, okay then." Like, she still kind of seems like she doesn't believe you.
I think we need some wine.
Yeah. Yeah, so you pop open the bottle of wine, and I'd probably just passing the bottle around sort of situation, unless anybody brought some drinkware.
I do have a mess kit, I think.
I also have a messy kit.
Yeah, so
I should
I do
probably
have a
wash it.
cup.
I have thieves' tools.
Hmm.
I don't know how that
Perfect.
comes into this, but
That will give you advantage on opening the bottle of wine, or that'll add your proficiency bonus to opening
She's
the
just
bottle.
like 2 tools at opening up the bottle. I think that's a good call. And Cam will get out a cup from her mess kit and just kind of hold it out.
anyone have a spare? This is going to sound sad, but I normally drink alone. So
Oh.
You drink out of your hands?
well, I just drink out of the bottle normally, which under the current
Oh,
circumstances
okay.
might make the wine less appetizing to the rest of you.
You're not sick, are you?
Not that I know of.
Oh,
mean,
that
that-
should be fine.
That is how I shared a bottle of wine with Anath.
All right, then I won't worry about it. And he pours into the cups and takes a long swig.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good.
Cam is going to open up her like fresh meal bundle, I think. Like it's getting later in the day now, right?
Yeah, the sun's going down. It's getting like approaching properly nighttime.
So she's gonna open up her bundle and start digging into the fresh meal while drinking the wine. And she'll just, if anyone's like open to some conversation, she'll offer that in return and enjoy her meal.
Excellent. It is pretty good food as well. As we travel on down the river, the night comes. It gets quite dark outside. Can I have the party, everybody, make a perception check for me?
Not as good. 20.
That is
Ooh,
Go ahead.
25.
I got a 24, and that was a net 20 for me. So
Ooh-wee!
I got a 14.
I got less than Wade with a net 20.
And so Lyra perceives the wine and the dinner. They're quite good. Really hitting the spot after, I don't know, how long has Lyra's been existing on rations?
Far, far, far too long. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
And I think he's probably never had smoked fish before, because in his mind's like, why would you have to do things to fish? Just go into the water and get one.
Just get them.
just like hole down his throat. Like.
No, I think what he does is he quickly does like a sashimi fillet kind of thing.
Nice.
Nice. But Cam, you see it first. We're gonna honor that natural 20. And then Wade, you catch it pretty quickly thereafter. There's a little, you're going through a river that's running against a mountain range. There's lots of little tributaries and waterfalls, and things, feeding into this river. Up at the top, just set against a silhouette of what little light remains in the sky, you can see up at the top of this little butte, or like little outcropping of the mountain, with water running down it. It seems like a structure of some kind, maybe a ruined fortification of some kind, with this river running through it, crashing down into a waterfall, and you see just a little tiny pinpoint of light up there. It's steady, not like a fire.
She like puts a hand on Wade's shoulder. Do you see something over there?
Not fire, but there's light of some sort up there. Perhaps magic?
Which direction was that in? From where we are?
So if you're heading down the river, this would be off to the right side of the boat. Off generally towards the west.
And does that seems like it's near like the mountains then?
It's not really like, it's like you're in the river. There's a cliff with some water running down it, and then like a couple levels of waterfall, and it's like up at the top, maybe in like a total straight line distance, 200 or 300 feet away from you.
Oh, well, I was going to say maybe that's something that we're looking for Albatende, but I'm not too sure on that.
Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to go ahead and cast Mage Armor.
And we're like, I'm pointing this out to like if Lyris at all takes interest in this, or if he's too enthralled by his food.
How do they make this fish taste like this? Oh, that's interesting.
Wait, when did I use Eyes of the Night?
That would have probably been yesterday.
Yesterday.
So before my sleep.
Before
Yeah.
your sleep, yes.
Okay. So I should still have that, but I'm going to use it now. I'm gonna use Eyes of Night. I'll give Lyris a warning this time about it, since he seemed concerned the last time he could see everything. And I'm gonna share the 300 feet of dark vision with them.
Very nice.
Open your mind, man.
Yeah, with the 300 feet of dark vision, you can make out very clearly this ruined old fortification on the top of this little, built around the top of this small waterfall that's feeding the larger river that you're traveling down. And there is just some kind of point of light just like hovering there.
Is this a creature of some sort?
One. Make a nature check, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's a 21.
21. There are creatures that you're aware of that can make some sort of glowing, like there are bioluminescent creatures and things like that. It's nothing like a firefly. It'd be much too big. It's also not moving. It's pretty stationary. There are some creatures that you're familiar with, being sea dweller, like some anglerfish type creatures that try to lure things to it with a light. Those only live underwater, so far as you know, and this is up in the air.
We know if anyone on the barge might have a spyglass.
You could ask the NPC, whose name I forgot. Leaf. Redstream.
Redstream, are you still awake?
Yeah, man, I'm still awake. I gotta stay up and guide this barge down y'all looking at the ruins on top of the mountain there?
Yes.
Oh,
Have
do you know what
did
those
see it?
are?
I mean, I know they're there. I don't really know too much about them. They've always been there.
Do you see the light? Is that typical?
Like kind of looks up at it. It's just that, huh? Kind of, you can see on his face that he's like looking at this, like he's just seen this structure so many times that he's kind of stopped seeing it. As he travels down the river and he's looking up at it. That's not usually there. I've never seen that before. That's a little weird.
Do you know if there's a spyglass aboard that we might get a closer look at it?
Spyglass. Let's see if he's got one. It's like, yeah, I got this little. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out this little tiny one. There's not much real use for it. Don't really have good line of sight on the river. No real need to magnify things, but here you go. This tiny little spyglass about this big. Yeah, and with that, we'll keep that 24 from before. As far as you can see, there's just this little yellow orb just kind of gently hovering there, just going.
And does this look like a tower? Does it look like what she described to us?
It does not look like what she described to you.
That's not normally there. I mean, it could be nothing, but it could be something too. And the something I'm concerned about.
And the boat is continuing down the river at this point. And if you wish to disembark from it, you are slowly now. You were coming up on it. Now you're like at the closest point you'll be to it on the river, and you're gonna continue moving away from it after too long.
How long did we get out of this? How much time did we save by even going on this barge?
If you continued on foot from here, you have honestly, you haven't made it much further than you would have if you had left on foot at this point. Is that the real benefit is just being able to sleep and continue moving.
Mm-hmm.
But you're maybe a little bit ahead right now of where you would be if you're going on foot, just because the river is the most direct route and the path does have to curve a little bit away from the river due to the terrain.
Well, how about this? How about we have to head back up towards the mountains anyway. When we go back, we'll stop and take a look.
Cam is like looking at Wade.
Did it appear arcane in nature as far as I could tell from the spyglass?
Make an Arcana check.
That's a 14.
It's hard to say. Like, there are spells like that you're aware of. Dancing lights could create an effect like this. There's a number of spells that could create this effect. It's unusually stationary. Most of the spells carry light with the person who casts them. If there's somebody there, they're not moving and you can't see them.
I want to cast Prestidigitation and see if I can recreate the look of the orb.
You cast Prestidigitation and you can recreate the look of it, but it doesn't shed the same amount of light. It doesn't have. It's difficult to recreate that like sort of gently cyclical pulsing and hovering that's going on, but you make something that looks pretty similar.
You said it was like a couple 100 feet from us?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, in a straight line about 300 feet from where you were, drifting slightly further away now. Mostly up.
Hmm.
So
They're
we should
probably about
sleep
equal
in-
parts up and away.
Perhaps we should sleep in shifts just in case anything comes of it.
Reasonable proposal.
I could always. Well, actually, maybe I can't. Does the space that we're sitting in have enough room for a tiny hut?
Remind me how big a tiny hut is?
10 by 10.
Yeah, you could arrange it so that you've got enough space for a tiny hut.
I could always summon a tiny hut too, if that would help.
How does that work again?
How does that work again? We'll see. I think like we could see outside of it, but you can't see into it. It's opaque from the outside and transparent from the inside, and then we can fit up to 9 medium or smaller creatures. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. And it's comfortable and dry, regardless of the weather.
That sounds like it would be beneficial. I wonder how it would work if the surface it was under.
It just slides off the porch.
No, I'd say it would move with the barge.
I'm pretty sure it moves with it.
Interesting. There are further implications. And then Wade starts.
Oh, you need some time to think about that one. Cam is going to start setting up a space for the tiny hut, and like her general idea is if there's anybody else too who wanted to like actually I think what she would do is set up some bedrolls in there for just the party.
Mm-hmm.
But she has it in her mind that she knows how many people can sit in there, so if danger happens, she can tell the other people to go in it. Yeah. Who's gonna take first watch? I wouldn't mind.
I can take first watch.
Okay.
All right.
And
So
I
the
shall
rest-
take second.
And Cam on third. All right. So you bed down for the night. It, thanks to the dome, a lot more comfortable than it would have been otherwise. Can I have you make a perception check for the first watch for me, please?
Oh no.
12?
12. Yeah. Keeping an eye out. This 300 feet of dark vision thing that lasts for what, an hour?
An hour, yeah.
Yeah. So suddenly about an hour into your watch, everything just gets and the darkness comes a lot closer very suddenly. You can hear some occasional shuffling in the woods, some creatures moving around, nothing too large, nothing too threatening. It just sounds like wildlife for the most part. But it largely passes without incident.
All right then. He's gonna just kind of very gently shake Wade at the shoulder.
It must be time.
It is your time.
It's rather dark out.
Yes, it is. It tends to happen in the wilds at night.
Well, enjoy your sleep.
I will try. Good luck. Wake me if, obviously, if anything dangerous comes about. And, yeah, Lyris goes to sleep.
All right. Wade, a perception check for me, please.
That is a unnatural 20.
Right. Again, you continue sitting, watching the river, listening to some of the wildlife shuffle around, and there's a point about halfway through your watch where you see something maybe about the size of a large cat, but it's flying through the air. It's got wings, but it definitely has a quadrupedal body shape with these two. You have dark vision, right? 60 feet?
60 feet of dark vision.
Okay. So it's kind of hard to make out exactly what's going on in this dim light until it gets pretty close to you. And there is, you recognize this creature. You've seen this before. This, you're reasonably certain that this is some sort of homunculus that's flying towards.
Would
the
I
boat.
believe that it's bad?
What does it mean to be bad?
Would you believe
Do I believe it? Would I assume that it has bad intentions in regards to the barge?
Make an insight check.
I'm good at those.
He's just
That
a
is
good little
21.
homunculus.
21. Your initial apprehension, you realize, is because you've seen this specific creature before. This is Flynn Theobald's homunculus companion that you've seen sometimes, and it is flying. For those of you who do not remember, he is the master of the Hall of a Weave.
I know. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, what?
And it's carrying it looks like an envelope in its mouth. And it fly. I mean, you can do what you want to do, but it looks like it's coming in for a landing on the boat. It's like got eyes on you, Wade.
Okay.
I'm asleep. Don't listen to me.
I would assume that I've experienced this before.
It's been a
Possibly.
while, but yeah, you have received
No.
a homunculus letter before.
You say that so casually.
It lands on the deck. It takes a little bit of a takes a little bit of a tumble and kind of skids.
Look this up.
And spits this letter out.
Thank you. I just start wipe it off gently. Does this homunculus have a name?
Not that you're aware of.
Do you accept pets? No.
Make a persuasion check.
I'm not good at those, but okay. That's a 14.
It'll look at you a little bit and sit down, fold its wings.
Start.
Happy gurgling noises.
Is this thing Stitch? Like what?
It is kind of reminiscent of Stitch. Then you pet it for a while and you stop. It kind of looks at you and looks a little betrayed that you've stopped, and turns around. It gets like a little bit of an awkward running start and jumps off of the front of the barge and before taking back to the air, flapping its way in the general direction of Crystal Harbor.
And I will use prestidigitation to clean or soil this letter.
To clean or soil, like you
Which
taking a
one?
gamble on it. Like,
Yeah, roll a
It's
d2.
Schrodinger's.
oh, it's covered in pee now.
Would I assume that it's urgent to read this letter?
That can be up to Wade as to whether or not he think it would be urgent. Usually, if you get a letter from the boss, you don't necessarily want to sleep on it for too long, but you're also not sure if he knows that it's been delivered or not yet.
I will wait to read it until after my watch, just because it's not my watch, and our safety is probably more important.
But apart from that, the watch largely goes by without any other excitement, and then it's Cam's turn if you choose to wake her.
You must awake.
She's still snoring. Like, if you only try to wake her up by voice.
And then I'm like, Cam, wake up, or I'm going to dump a lot of water on you.
What? Not wake later. She sits up like immediately. Oh, that was really rude.
I didn't dump the water on you.
Can't stay mad at you, Wade. And
I gotta read this
you're right.
letter. Do you remember the cat, the flying cat?
I don't think that I would refer to it as a cat. But wait, you got a letter.
Yeah. The boss guy sent a letter. I didn't want to read it. It was on my watch, so I figured I can read it and then go to bed, go to sleep.
Oh, are we not allowed to read things on our watch? She looks like super guilty.
It's just up to you. I have a hard time like if I'm reading something, I'm like focused on reading, not focused on watching.
Oh wow, that's very considerate of you, Wade. But go on. I'm curious too now. She's gonna like try to put his mind at ease by making sure that she turns her attention to their surroundings.
And Wade he's not going to open the letter like with a flap. He's going to go to like the edge of the letter and just like tear off the end of it and slide it out like that.
The letter does not appear to be trapped. Yeah, and there's just a piece of paper folded up inside. Seems to be completely ordinary at first glance. You unfold it, and as you were expecting from the creature that delivered it to you, this letter is from Flynn. It is addressed to you. It says, Wade, urgent matters require your attention in Crystal Harbor. An explosion with arcane elements has occurred at Broxl's Brews. The aftermath is somewhat chaotic, and the Hall of Weave is in need of your assistance in the investigation.
Well, I guess it's a good thing we're headed there. It's faster than we would have been.
Does he read that out loud?
He probably does not read it out loud, but he probably says it's a good thing we're headed there out loud.
Then Cam like looks over at him, but then like remembers that she's trying to keep watch. And well, what did it say?
You know how you like your glitter, right? And like if you throw it up, it goes everywhere.
Oh, that's the most wonderful part about it, and then it just stays there forever.
Well, something not so good happened, but similar to that. Apparently something exploded in Crystal Harbor, so he wants us to check that out.
Oh, it exploded where? Hopefully not the shop.
Where was it again? The
Broxl's
explosion?
Broxl's Brews has exploded.
Broxl's Brews. Have I ever had any of his brews?
Yeah,
Or
he's
their
the guy
brews?
you sold the mysterious green substance
Pretty
to.
sure this is our fault.
Oh no.
The skeleton
Not-
exploded.
I mean, not our fault, but perhaps indirectly as a result.
But he was looking into what it might be for. Maybe he found what it was for in the process.
Explosions. Perhaps Skelgy plus Brews equals explosions. This could have.
This could be explosive for our profit margin.
If
did I
only
do it right?
Anath. Yes, if only Anath were here to share in this glory.
Well, it'll be a great thing for him to come back to after his vacation with little Joe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
wonder what my dreams will be. I'll dream of exploding brews. Like brews that are so delicious, they just, like the flavor explodes in your mouth.
You always get so funny when you're tired.
Perhaps if I'm wondering if he just used too much. Perhaps if he just used like the tiniest drop, it could have been like an explosion of flavor in your mouth.
In your mouth? I don't want to end up like Anath did at your place.
Well, it's all about experimentation. And then he starts lying down in his bedroll, and he's just like, his mind's all over the place, so he probably doesn't sleep too well.
Right. Well, Cam takes a watch. You make a perception check for me if you like.
14.
It's a quiet night on the river. Your watch goes into the early morning hours, and you can watch the sun come up over the forest. It's the bay is to the east of here. You've got a nice clear view out. If there weren't trees in the way, but there's no mountains or anything to block the sun, is what I mean to communicate. And you can see some of the docks that stick out into the river from Crystal Harbor, just at the very, very far distance of your vision. And we've been going for about an hour and a half, so I think that's a good time to take a break just before we get back into town.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
We're
Hello
back.
there.
Frantically prepping encounters. Yeah, so I hope everybody had a good break. We'll rejoin the crew as they just wake up in the morning with the ore docks on the north side of Crystal Harbor just visible in the very far distance. The crew comes to awake with not so much an eventful evening, but just beset with strange sights and a strange visitor delivering mail in the middle of the night. What was that about? Anyway, unless there's anything you'd like to do in the morning, we can fast forward through the next hour or two of travel and have y'all offload at the ore docks on the north side of Crystal Harbor.
Before we do that, I'll turn to Lyris and be like, what are your thoughts on explosions?
Generally bad.
Surprise! We're gonna investigate one. Thanks for your cooperation.
Cam is also like this.
Okay. That
You've
sounds.
probably passed by Broxl's Brews once or twice in your time in Crystal Harbor, no?
Potion shop, isn't it?
It used to be. Until there was an explosion.
Just wait, say it like what?
Exactly like that.
Oh, was
Yes.
anybody hurt?
We're going to investigate, so hopefully no.
Wait, hold on. Did you see an explosion while I was asleep and you didn't wake me up?
No. I received a letter while you were asleep.
Whom exactly did you receive a letter?
No, Flynn of the Hall of Weave.
You've at least
Runs-
heard of
runs
it.
He's
Yeah,
the
that
one
one.
that brought necromancy back, to my understanding.
Yes. He sent his flying cat creature, a homunculus, but you know. Anyway, he sent it, and he gave me this letter. Speaking of the matter,
All right. Just going to move past all the weird things you just said. And
Perfectly normal.
so the Hall of Weave is asking us to investigate.
yes.
I guess the word has gotten out about the Heralds of the Storm.
Oh, I suppose we didn't tell you that we. Well, I work for the Hall of Works sometimes, and Wade has some connection to the Hall of Weave.
I would say more than just a connection.
So it's getting pretty serious then.
Can't believe.
Wait,
Yes, quite serious.
Everybody takes
And
D4 psychic damage.
And he takes off he's probably had his warm weather gear off for a while now, yes?
Mm-hmm.
But don't you also have that cloak though? Are you wearing it, or do you just have it in your bag?
Which cloak?
We found a one of those robes of useful
Oh,
items, and we gave it to Wade.
I think I probably just have that in my bag for now.
Yes, well, I figured that, the wizard in this group probably had some connection to the Hall of Weave. Just as I'm sure you have assumed, at least on some level, that I am connected with the Hall of Wilds.
Cam is like,
Actu-
Cam does not look like this. Looks like she's learning it for the first time.
But you knew I'm a bounty hunter, right?
Yes, but I also know that Aneth is from the Hall of Wilds, and you two are nothing alike.
That's sort of what, I like, in my mind, I'm like, Anath, Hall of Wilds, and then I look at you and I'm like, not Nath, not Hall of Wilds.
Well, I'm not officially. I'm not a bureaucrat. I don't work within the hall, and in fact, I work with the Hall of Writs just as often as they also post bounties.
Ah, the Hall of Writs, almost as good. Oh, wait.
What?
It's okay. Wade's got a cold.
I don't even know what he said, but how
I
he
knew-
said it.
I knew what you heard, and that made me chuckle.
I'm sorry.
I saw what your
I have
brain
no
turned
idea
it
what's
into.
going on.
The Hall of Rip, you know. It pairs well with cheese.
I get it now.
Yes, well, anyway, I was able to deduce that much. Though, if this is an official assignment to you from the hall and doesn't really include us, is this something that you still want our help with?
I would imagine so. This is pretty important to Crystal Harbor, so if you would not mind assisting, I would appreciate it.
Not at all. In fact, this is the kind of work that I am used to doing, so...
I'm
Happy
also
to
a
help.
little bit worried that it might have been partially our fault. We did leave some strange substance with him and asked him to look into it.
Well, if he consented and you made clear that the substance was unknown, then that's not really fault, per se.
I also suppose that he's often mixing new concoctions that he might not know is dangerous, so...
Perhaps he's like me and he just doesn't know how to detect magic.
Isn't that, like, sort of the first wizard trick they teach you at wizard school?
I suppose I must have forgot it.
Didn't go to class that day, huh?
I can only do that sometimes, so...
Well,
Well, perhaps this is one of those times.
that begs the question, though, if you're not the kind of wizard that can detect magic, what is your specialty?
Yes, Wade, what is your
Um,
specialty?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Mostly, I think most of them, I have some utility spells available, but also a lot of combat spells. I do know Fireball. I hear some people don't like the taste, but
Too much cinnamon. I feel like you didn't answer my question, though.
I mean, in general, I'm just a wizard, but I don't know how. I mean, I guess some of my spells are like geared towards necromancy, but I'm not like the nasty ones, if you know what I mean.
I see. I can understand why you wouldn't necessarily want to be forthcoming with that.
I mean, if you want to look at my book, if that'll tell you
I think he's
what type
asking
of
what...
wizard. I guess what art, like, what do you mean by the question?
I just mean what was your specialty, and I believe necromancy is probably the answer. It sounds like. For example, yes, I am a ranger. I've spent much of my time in the wilds, but I am a hunter. That is the particular type of ranger I am.
Fair. Yeah. I mean,
listen, you don't need to worry. It's fine. I understand the stigma attached to necromancy, and in truth, I believed much of the stigma as well. But I've known you for a time now, and I don't have any reason to mistrust you based on the type of magic you excel at.
I mean, I never really gave it much thought. I mean, looking at my spellbook, I only really have, I think, one necromantic spell.
Oh.
And that's like, you know, making somebody laugh. Is that? No, not that one. It's making somebody afraid. That's it. Making somebody afraid.
Wait, you have a spell that makes people laugh?
It might hurt them a little bit, which is why I, you know, but yes.
Interesting.
Just aggressive tickling.
I think he was asking what kind of schooling you had.
Well, I mean, I learned under Flynn.
And is he a necromancer? I know that he lifted the ban on necromancy.
I would imagine that's why he did it, so that he could sort of expand his, you know, influence and power in that domain.
Is Flynn a nice person, Wade?
You see Wade sort of like glance around to see if anybody's within like earshot.
Could he
Make-
be listening?
Make a perception check.
Perception. That's a 23, folks.
You do not see anybody listening around, and there's a few people passing by, and of course, the boat captain's still nearby if you're near the docks still, but nobody, no homunculi or anybody who you would recognize as being affiliated with the Hall of Weave.
So you see Wade sort of do like this hush hush, like get into this like close circle sort of thing. Cam, I'm sure you're already aware of my position on Flynn. I don't trust him, especially after the fact that my parents have not returned from, you know, their endeavors.
So why do you continue to work so closely with him?
Well, you know what they say, you know, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh, another one of your sayings.
One enemy per child.
I had an uncle who actually said the same thing.
Weren't my parents like the first people that he necromantized or whatever you call that? I feel like there was some relation between that
Necromance?
and
Necromance.
Saxophone.
I mean, he didn't necessarily like raise your parents as undead.
there was something
he abandoned them?
between.
Yeah,
Mm.
he abandoned them as undead. No. Yeah, I believe they went missing working on some sort of project to do with what's going on in the Straits.
Like, I just don't trust the guy. And this whole necromancy thing just gives me the heebie-jeebies, you know?
Is that why you don't keep any of the spells of your schooling in your spell book?
Quite so.
I bet you would be very powerful, though, if you have the framework.
I'd rather not go down that road. It's... And you sort of just see him look away and like, I just don't.
Well, should I die before I complete my quest, I give you permission to raise me. So long as you allow my undead self to continue on with my quest.
I don't have that capability.
Yet.
Yet, perhaps.
Cam, you're sort of on the other side of that, right?
How do you mean?
Well, instead of like necromancy, it'd be like sort of raising them, but they're still themselves, right?
Oh, you mean like bringing someone back to life altogether?
Yes.
Yes, I am. I have the framework for that. I guess that's how I would phrase it.
Hopefully that would be a better option for you, Nearest.
I suppose
I'd
that's a good
say
point.
turning that to that side is preferable, if possible.
We did get diamonds necessary. Oh, she actually lowers her voice when she says diamonds because she's like, I don't know. We did get the diamonds necessary for me to do such a thing. At least if you're in my immediate vicinity and it hasn't been too long.
How long do you have to raise someone?
I just closed it.
It's a minute,
It's a minute.
I believe.
Okay. Yeah. As long as it is within the minute, eventually, hopefully, I could have even more powerful things that would not be so time sensitive. But...
So what you're saying is I have to remain within a minute's travel of you at all times.
If you don't wish to die forever, yes. It would be easier than some other options.
Good to know. All right then.
Yeah.
Well, to the city. We'll investigate this explosion.
Right. So there were a number of things you talked about doing while you were here. There was the more pressing letter that you received from Flynn about the explosion of Broxl's, and checking in with Brilliant and Baubles about your dragon figurine.
That's a quadruple B's there.
When we head into like the docks, what would be the closest thing? Would it be the Hall of Weave, or would it be Brilliant and Baubles?
So they'd be roughly the same distance away from where you land, but in opposite directions.
Okay.
And what about Broxl's Brews?
Do you
Well, that's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Broxl's Brews, right.
You said two different things.
Yeah, sorry. I was thinking the Hall of Weave because that's who requested his help.
So Brilliant Baubles is not quite on the way to Broxl's, but it's in the same general direction. You'd have to go a little bit out of your way to swing by it, but not too terribly far.
Okay.
Well, we already have the mission, so heading that far out of our way to go to the Hall of Weave before we've discovered anything seems pointless. So let's head towards Brox's Brews, and then we'll check in on this dragon figurine that you seem to have given to somebody.
Well,
Yes, that is quite correct.
We didn't know what it was or how important it was at the time.
Yeah, I understand. But we didn't receive a letter about a dragon coming out of a shop and killing everyone, so that's good news.
That is good news.
Have we talked to you about where we got the dragon? Are you aware of that story?
Yes, you did tell me about this place where the board and the giant came from and the dragon and all that. I only just recently found out that you handed the dragon figurine off to somebody.
Yes. Well, perhaps the reason we haven't heard of the dragon coming to life yet is because the people who know about that place are probably few and far between.
Ah, so the dragon would have to be returned to the place in order to be restored on this plane.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way we're aware of it so far. I'm sure there's,
And that is good news.
And wasn't it like a weird way of getting to that room that we used the board? It was like this weird extra dimensional space or something.
There was a mirror, and you could walk through the mirror when the exterior door was closed. So you could see a reflection of the open door of an open door where you expected the closed door to be in the mirror. It's pretty wild. Wild.
So I've done strange mirror stuff in multiple campaigns. Good to know.
That shiny glass is suspicious, man.
All right, so we're going to head straight to Broxl's Brews then.
Yes, probably best to go there first. Yes, if possible, you could stop by Brilliant and Baubles and pick up the dragon if you wanted to do that.
Yeah. So if you wanted to hit Brilliant Baubles on the way, it'd add about 20 minutes to the walk to hit Brilliant Baubles on the way, or you could hit it on the way back.
How early is it right now?
Right now it's like it's like late morning.
Okay. Yeah, maybe we should just head straight to Broxl's then. Like Lyra said, there's no dragons flying about quite yet.
There doesn't seem to be an immediate threat, so let's deal with
Very well.
the emergency first.
So we head off to Broxl's.
Absolutely. Can I get a perception check from everybody, please?
There's another 25.
No.
11.
All right. Yeah, so there's a number of trees and things that are growing throughout Crystal Harbor. It's a pretty green city with all of the abandoned structures unkempt buildings, unmaintained lots, and that sort of thing, in addition to some of the intentionally cultivated trees, like the big one that the Hall of Wilds is built into, or partially built into. But as you come through the old fortification into Old Port, on your way to Broxl's, you can see that there is some sort of like wilding that has happened off in the distance. There is a large tree growing up pretty much where you would expect the middle of Broxl's to be. And as you get close, you can see you come around a corner onto the street that Broxl's Brews is on, and it's been cordoned off. And there is a familiar to you, Wade, satyr standing there, a woman you know as Strawberry, who works with the hall as well, seems to be manning this blockade, having shut the street down. And you continue to approach.
Yes.
Wait.
I wave Strawberry.
Wade, you got here really quickly. Wow. Flynn said he was going to send for you. I didn't think you'd get here so fast. Something really strange happened in Broxl's yesterday afternoon. Just all of a sudden, the building. You'll see for yourself when you go in there, but it's almost like the building aged 100 years in a second. All sorts of vines grew up over it with such aggression that their growth shot pieces of the structure off and into neighboring buildings. No major damage outside of Broxl's, thankfully, but
And Broxl?
this is a weird one. We haven't found him. Now we're a little bit, we're a little. There's not a lot of guard in the city to go investigate this sort of thing, and they're getting a little cagey at all this weird magic, or they're saying that it's weird magic. So they're insisting that the Hall Weave manage it, since it was a potion shop that exploded. So with all sorts of people out on different projects, we had to send for you.
If I may interject.
Yeah, you are. Hi, Strawberry. You are
Lyris. I'm an ally of Wade's.
I think I've seen you around town before. Good to meet you. And she puts out a hand. It's a pretty firm handshake.
You're quite strong, Strawberry. But I had a question. I probably won't be able to help too much with the magical significance of what's happened here, but how long ago did it happen?
It happened yesterday afternoon, early evening, just around sundown.
And obviously Broxl has not returned since then.
No, we've not been able to find him. We've tried a little bit of divination to try and locate him, but it came up empty. Now, it doesn't have a terribly large range. If he's out of town, for instance, we wouldn't find him, but he's definitely not in the city.
And have many come and gone from the structure since then?
No, if anybody's come and gone, it's been beyond our sight. We shut the street down pretty quickly. The guard got on it, been keeping people from going inside. I know one of the town guard who initially responded to the report of the incident stuck his head inside and then immediately kind of came running for us because of the it's really weird when you see it. It's like it became dilapidated and overgrown with vines overnight. Never seen anything like it.
Has anybody cast detect magic in the area?
Oh yeah, definitely magic. I threw a little bit of that up. I can sense it from here, even.
Sorry, say that last thing again?
I can detect. We're still quite a distance away. Normally, like the detection of magic has some sort of range, but it's the way that it's propagating through the weave. I can sense it even from here.
What schools of magic did you detect in that?
Mostly, it's a strong. Let's see. I'm gonna roll an Arcana check for Strawberry. Primarily transmutation. Some other hints of different, flavors of magic, but the big one.
David, you said this was a big tree that's in the middle of Broxl's?
Yeah, there's like, Wade's able to see, like, even from here, a tree growing up out of the roof, and now that you've gotten closer, kind of you can see some of this, some of these plants that have like grown up and over. It's like a building that's been abandoned for 100 years with vines climbing all over it through the windows.
Would we be able to get a... Oh, hi, Strawberry. Nice to see you again.
Always good to see you, Cam.
Would we be able to get a closer look? I noticed everything's kind of blocked off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If Wade, if these are the individuals that you select to assist with your assignment,
indeed,
then absolutely, we can certainly get them through.
I would very much like to get in close with that tree.
Yeah, if we're going to be
I won't
allowed
stop you.
to get closer, then Lyris will immediately start looking for tracks. And he's looking specifically for maybe Broxl's tracks leading away, and beyond that, anything that stands out as abnormal for this sort of environment.
Okay, yeah. So that'll be a survival check for me, please.
Come on. No, that's an 8.
Yeah, it's difficult to track. This is, a cobblestone street, even in the relatively lightly traveled old port area. There's still enough people coming around here that it's hard to say whose tracks are whose, especially not necessarily being overly familiar with Broxl.
Start making my way to the remains of the building and
Right. Yeah, as you come around the final corner, you can see like part of the building sticking out. But as the entirety of the building comes into view, we have a map now. There is just it almost looks like a slice of the countryside has grown up in and around Broxl's shop. There are a lot of trees in the area. Cam, Wade, and anyone who's shopped here before would know that Broxl does keep a garden in the area where he grows a lot of the ingredients he would use to make some of your more common potions. But it's just gone absolutely nuts. It's growing up, like I just said before, growing through the windows, out the roof. Parts of the building have been flung into the streets, just from what you presume to be rapid plant growth, as Strawberry had described.
Is anyone else doing something before we entered this place?
Nope, that's it for me.
So what was it that we gave Broxl again? Was it
some Skelgi, I think?
An entire barrel of it, if I remember correctly.
Okay, did we ever use detect magic on the Skelgi?
Don't think so.
Because that strange ore that we found also gave off a transmutation aura. Wonder if they're related.
Does it seem like where we're standing right now, does it seem as though there is something, how do I phrase this? Something that is overgrown right next to them? Is there anything outside? Or does it seem like it's all coming out the top of this place?
Yeah, the ground around is also overgrown. Anything that's not stone pathway on this map you can consider difficult terrain unless you have something that lets you ignore that.
Okay. Cam is going to then she's gonna fiddle with the little necklace that she got from her father, and she's going to this is so strange, but I just want to, and she just kind of looks over her shoulder at the others, and she leans into one of the overgrown looking plants, and she goes, "Excuse me, is everything okay?"
Let's see.
Also, I have a question. Are we supposed to be able to see a map right now?
If you come into the link I sent in VDO, you can get to it from there.
The D&D Beyond.
I'm in
hit
that.
refresh.
Okay.
Did you hit refresh? I had to do that.
Refresh.
I need to see
There
if
we
I
go.
can get it on the stream because I didn't test that out before we went live.
We're doing it live, people.
Yep, if you see us, I don't know what you're gonna see when I turn this over. So Oh, that's not the right one. We're doing it live. It's fine.
Ooh. Double Shanks. What value?
Ooh,
There we go. Okay.
maybe I
can
should
get this
undo
up
2
here.
buttons at once.
I will get a map up.
So, a particular part of this map stands out to me immediately.
Oh,
Which part would that be?
A certain red streak across the floor.
well,
That's a racing stripe.
Helps the floor go faster. But yeah, if anybody
my
would like to...
sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
I got a new computer, you guys, so we're doing stuff live here.
Yeah, Wade and Lyris, if either of you would like to make any sort of checks or look at anything in particular now as you've entered into the foyer. The ground here, think like the house from Jumanji, just vines and flowers everywhere.
Is there a monkey boy in one of the rooms?
Make a perception check. No, there's no there is no monkey boy.
Yeah, I think I would like to go investigate this blood-stained floor.
Yeah, you can see that from the entryway. Are you proceeding in a stealthy fashion, just charging through?
I think Lyris assumes the danger has passed.
Okay.
So yeah, he's just gonna walk towards it to investigate it, and
Yeah.
if nothing interferes, I'd probably stop there and start kind of.
Nothing interfere. How are you with difficult terrain?
I mean, I am a ranger.
Do you have that feature yet?
Well, I'm that weird
Oh, right.
playtest material ranger that now no longer exists as it was.
It exists as it could be in our hearts.
So to answer your question, I don't know.
Okay. But yeah, other than you just got to be careful with where you plant your feet, getting over these vines and roots growing through the floor.
Right.
Yeah. You come up, there is a streak of blood running across the floor, it looks like. Kind of trailing from one side of the wall where there's what it looks like a large handprint on the wall. This trail of blood going across the floor, which is not quite as solid like a paintbrush as it is on the map. It's more speckles and spots, but it's still pretty evident as a trail heading towards a window. What would you like to look for?
I guess I would like to try to find the source of the bleeding, like where it starts, and see if there's anything there that indicates what may have caused it.
Yeah, make an investigation check for me, please.
Yeah, I can do that in theory.
Good at those.
No, I cannot do that. That's not gonna be good. It's 4.
Can I help?
Yeah, you can help.
Yay! Come on, that's better. That's 12, I think.
12?
12.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too hard to see. It looks like this place on the wall. It looks like the bleeding started near the wall. Something. You notice that there is a hole clean through this wall. It's about the size of a baseball, and there is a little bit of. It's difficult to say what made the hole, but there is a little bit of blood around the outside of it, and then a large bloody handprint on the wall, as though somebody has leaned against it, and then this trail of blood occasionally interrupted with footprints. It looks like somebody was injured in some way, and then made their way to the door, or made their way to the window, and it stops there.
The window being the one at the northeast corner there.
Yep.
Okay.
Near the end of the trail.
on the other side of that hole?
Good question.
Yeah, make a perception check for me, Wade.
And that's an 11.
You just like put your eye up to the hole, look through it.
I would have some distance because I would assume something would have come through that hole.
Yeah. And looking at it from a distance, try even like crouching over, trying to get a good line of sight through. It's hard to tell specifically what is on the other side of that hole. You can see some light filtering in from above, illuminating just more vines and plants. It looks like this might be this, the central mass of wherever this outgrowth started from.
Is there any like object in the room that looks like it might have been what went through the wall?
The one that you're currently in?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're making a. Yeah, let's say give me another investigation for that. For looking for something specific.
Wait, can you help me look for this whatever went through the wall here?
Also, I'm very good at investigating things. If you
Oh, maybe I'll help you do it then. I'm not terrible at it, but I'm not the best. So yeah, I'll help you.
I missed it because I was dealing with the map stuff. Did the plant have any reaction to Cam?
The plant did not have any reaction to Cam.
Okay. She kind of just blushes then and like moves in after them.
I'll say the wording of that item gives you advantage on charisma checks made to interact with plants. It does not give you the ability to interact with plants. It gives you the ability to interact with plant type creatures, though, which what you gather what you were talking to was just a vine.
Yeah, I don't think Cam quite understands what it is.
Totally fair.
The 22 investigation.
22 investigation. You're looking around and you're scouring this room for what may have caused this hole in the wall, and there is very definitively nothing in here that would have made that hole. Like there's some splinters of wood in here, some pieces of beam that fell down that are approximately the same size, but you would expect there to be some blood on whatever you're looking for. And looking closer at this damage to the wall, it looks like it was blown out from the other side as though something pierced it from the next room over. And whatever that is not in this room.
Is there a similar hole on the northern wall?
Good question. There is not.
Wondering if perhaps a vine or something broke through the wall, or I feel like if it was a vine, it would still be there,
unless it retracted. There are sentient plant creatures that I've dealt with in the past.
You hear Cam go,
perhaps...
Oh.
Either that or whatever object went through the wall is still in the person it pierced.
That's another thing that I was concerned about. And you said this leads to a window?
The trail of blood?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's strange. Do you think that maybe then it's not Broxl's, or there was a reason that he couldn't go through the front door?
I mean, if it leads through a window, maybe it was a NAF.
God damn it.
At that, Lyris runs to the window to see if there's like an Anath corpse in the garden outside.
Anath is not dead on the balcony or is not dead in the garden outside.
Is the door blocked by anything?
Which door? The door to get into this room here?
The door
There's one-
closest to where the blood trail leads.
The like on the north side there.
Yes, that door.
That door does not appear to be blocked by anything.
That's strange.
It is closed, and there's like all kinds of vines growing. Like you might need to give it a little bit of a shove to get it open, but it's not like obstructed.
And what about the window? Is there anything notable outside the window that isn't on the map?
Well, like all the windows that you've seen in this building, it is broken out. Make a perception check out the window.
Okay. That's a 16 plus 6, 22.
22. Yeah, it's difficult to see for sure with all of the plant growth that's happened here, but there is on the window ledge on the outside and a little bit running, just a few drops running down the outside wall of the building. When you stick your head out, there is a little bit of more of this blood trail. It looks like somebody staggered in a weaving pattern, stumbled, caught themselves on this wall, and then went back towards the window and out and through it rather ungracefully. Wherever they went, they are not there now.
Well, someone's life is most likely in danger. Whoever was wounded here, but they seem to have wandered off. I can track them, hopefully, but since we're here, perhaps we should find out what caused the damage to begin with.
And on that, can I get passive perception numbers from everybody, please?
16.
17.
Oh, dang.
Wait, no, that's insight. 14.
Also a 16.
So 2 16s and a 14?
Yes.
Yep.
All right. Wade and Laris, you can hear some sort of shuffling sound coming from the other room that it looks like the projectile came from.
Perhaps we should be cautious of what's on the other side of that door, or that wall.
Yes, whatever's moving around in there is probably dangerous.
And
Would you
on
like
that
me to
note,
go
I'm
first?
I can go first.
I'm gonna cast Mage Armor.
I might also cast something, but I don't know. Hold on. Okay. That's a long time. Okay. I'm going to cast Bark Skin.
Mm-hmm. Very fitting the theme.
Although, with Lyris, it is not the typical casting of the spell. You see him sort of concentrate, and he says a little mantra to himself under his breath. As he does so, his flesh kind of opens up a bit, and rainbow-colored scales just kind of pour out. And he's just kind of covered in prismatic scales from head to toe.
Cam is like, you're shiny.
Cam has disadvantage on perception checks while there's
I am, yes. This is a skill that
It
men
is
of my
a
family
beautiful
do.
skill.
Thank you. It's I don't know what to say about it, to be honest. People don't normally quite react like this.
Just say thank you.
Thank you. You
You're
should see it
welcome.
how it looks in Illumis.
Even shinier?
Well, there's sort of a perpetual rainbow of light there, and it sort of reflects off of everything.
I would very much like to see that if we don't die here.
You would have to seal up your glitter, though. It's underwater.
I can with enough preparation.
Anyway, it helps me to withstand damage in combat.
I just have this. And she like takes off her shield. Like, right.
Which also shiny.
Ooh, look at you.
All right.
I am ready to charge into the room when you're ready, DM.
Oh, I've been ready. What are we, are you just running in there?
Yeah. I think so.
All right.
I know
then
it's
I'm
not the smartest choice as a stealthy ranger, but I'm like, well, I'm bark skinned up. I'll be fine.
Yeah, so Lyris, unsure of what to do with a compliment, just runs into just takes off and steps with some haste into this room before seeing in front of you there's a large mass of vines with what appear to be it's truly a disturbing scene in front of you. There's two it looks like people, or what used to be, with all of these masses of vines and like growing out of their mouths and ears and eyes and just all over their skin. And just,
Are we? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, are we playing Call of Cthulhu here?
I would just like to point out the names of these things. Tendril puppet. That is horrifying.
Yeah, you're not wrong there.
But on that horrifying revelation, I'm going to need everybody to go ahead and roll me some initiative, please.
Party.
Absolutely.
That's not a good number. That's a 5.
That is not a great number.
Everybody else, you go ahead. That's fine.
I don't think I have a great number. 7.
That's
14.
better than 5.
So you
All right.
add 2 to the 5, and then you multiply it by 2, and you get a 14.
That checks out.
All right, you tear around this corner into this room, and these creatures that are in here, it looks like the bodies of people that you don't recognize, at least not at a glance, seemingly controlled by some sort of plant thing growing out of and over and around their body, and one of them just lurches forward and haphazardly 5, 10, 15 runs its way to the door. Actually, it runs its way to right here, and it reaches up with its hands and just like flings them towards you, just gestures very aggressively towards you, and all of these like little thorns and spines and other sharp pieces of wood fly off of its arms and hands toward you.
Holy shit.
Lyris. Does a 24 hit?
Oh,
I'm gonna have to say, unfortunately, yes. A 24 is gonna hit, and there's not a fucking thing I can do about it.
I got out the wrong kinds of dice. All right, so yeah, as you are just sprayed with these sharp thorns, and Cam, can you make a dexterity saving throw for me, please?
That is a 19.
Nice. So yeah, you're both showered as these spines fly towards Lyris. Some of them like shatter and fly off towards you as well, but you're able to raise your shield up quickly enough, and none of them hit you, at least not enough to cause any damage. But Lyris, please take 6 points of piercing damage.
So yeah, you see all these freaking wooden splinters just shower him with them. And as they're hitting him, they're hitting scales, and the scales are flying off of his body, and not a single one of them pierces him where a scale has already been removed.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then on this, a vine trailing around this thing's leg that's leading back to the central mass of vines in the center picks up off the ground, and another one, and a few of these tendrils coming off of this strange mass in the middle then fly out towards you as well, Lyris.
That's what I get for charging through the door.
That's gonna be a 12.
That's a miss.
For the first one.
He deflects with his sword.
And the second one is gonna hit. That's gonna be a 22 again.
Yeah, that's gonna hit me.
Right, please enjoy 4, 5, 6, 7. Please enjoy 9 points of bludgeoning damage as these thick vines go into you.
Yeah, okay. That's a fair bit of damage, and you can see that it hits him square, and no scales come flying off. It just crunches into his bones.
But now it is your turn.
Oh, that one hurt. That's okay. I've got it. And then he quickly points his fingers out and casts his hunter mark on the tendril puppet nearest to him. And then runs in to leave a gap in the door, and I'm going to swing my swords at it 3 times.
Nice.
So that is a natural 1.
That does not hit.
That is a natural 1.
What?
I'm changing dice.
Good call.
And that's not a natural 1. It's a 20.
That hits.
All right.
20 hits.
Fucking hell. 2 nat 1s in a row.
Wow.
You're getting them out of the way.
Yeah, so it hasn't taken damage yet, so I don't get to use one of my abilities.
But it's about to.
It is about to. It's a short sword. And Hunter's Mark is also a D6, I believe.
I believe so.
Come on. Hunter's Mark was a 1.
Ooh.
And that's a 10. So 11 piercing damage total.
11 points of piercing damage. Yeah, as you take a couple of swipes at this thing, it's able to, some of these vines that are growing out of its body like grow up in anticipation of your strikes and absorb them. You make contact, but not into like the central mass of the creature on the first 2, but the third one, by that time you're wise to this technique and are able to power through it, getting a solid hit.
Yeah, but as he digs in the last sword swing, you can see his scales like reform, like he regrows them, and like he kind of shakes off the cobwebs from being battered a moment ago. All right, I think I've got it now, but I could use some help.
10, 15, 20. Very nice. Yeah. So then at this, the other tendril puppet shambles its way around, being guided by this controlling vine to the doorway, and does a familiar motion, raising its hands up and just projecting a spray of shrapnel and thorns and things towards Cam. And Wade, can I have you make a dexterity saving throw, please?
No, how about we not do that? No.
Well, how many?
7.
7 does not save. But Cam, let's see, that's plus 4. Does a 15 hit you, Cam?
A 15 is a miss.
15 is a miss. So you successfully raise your shield and scatter off the thorns, but some of the deflected thorns head towards Wade. They head all around you. There's so many. Wade, it's 5 points of piercing damage, please. And then Cam is up.
Okay. Oh, sorry, Wade. She says that she sees them like splint off towards him, and she's gonna move up, and she kind of sings it sounds like angelic sort of harmony, but just like one person is doing it. And you see her spiritual weapon come up behind Tendril Puppet 2.
And remind me what her spiritual weapon looks like.
It looks like, if you've seen Cardcaptor Sakura, it looks just like the like wand thing that she uses to capture the cards, and it's like a war pick sort of thing, but it's black and gold and has little wings on it.
Very nice.
And she's going to move up into the space in front of Tendril Puppet 2 and hit with both her spiritual weapon and what is her regular weapon? Let's see.
She's got a hammer of some sort?
Her war hammer.
No. Yeah, make your attacks.
Why am I using digital dice?
That's a good question.
That's
Use physical
11.
dice if you would like. 11 misses.
Okay. Then she comes and she like swings at the puppet, and she gets kind of distracted by realizing that maybe she can talk to these creatures and misses. For her spiritual weapon attack, that is going to be a 16 to hit.
16 will hit.
And that is... What the heck do D8s look like? There we go. Not great damage. That is 6. No, that's 5. Yeah, that's 5.
5 points of damage. As a spiritual weapon bops into this thing.
Yeah, so she misses, and then she's like, oh no! And she like reaches into the air to like pull the other hammer behind down onto the creature.
Very nice. All right. Anything else on your turn? Only any movement left?
No. Actually, I might go like this. Wait, nope. That'll give me...
They would both potentially get a hit on you.
I'm gonna stay right there.
Right. Wade, you're up.
Everybody's sort of... it's going to move over here. Like right here. Do I got enough sight on one of these creatures without like being able to hit somebody?
You can get eyes on all 3 of them.
So if I wanted to do a chromatic orb,
you absolutely could.
I see this big mass of vines, and I'm like, I don't know, maybe if the mass of vines goes down, these other things do too. Maybe, I don't know. That's my thought. So I'm just gonna, make like these chromatic fireballs. Not like an actual fireball, but
right.
It's chromatic. And I'm gonna do that. So roll to hit. Fire damage. That is, does a 24 hit?
Yeah, 24 hits for sure.
And that is 15 fire damage.
Very nice. As you huck this ball of fire at it, it bursts out over the side, leaving a scorch along the outside, but not dealing quite as much damage as you might have expected.
Ooh. Interesting. I would have expected the other way.
One would.
No, We'll just yell out, fire doesn't seem to do it as much as I thought.
You have any cold spells?
I can make it cold.
Anything else on your turn?
I'm just gonna move out of the, I'll move the other way. Just so I'm out of sight.
We're up to the first of the tendril puppets. With you standing right in its face, it is going to just bring one of its fists back, and you see as it's reeling back for the strike, some more spikes grow onto its hand where the one shot out from, and it just comes at you with this wild swing.
All right.
Better.
I'm gonna guess that a 9 does not hit.
That's not even close. Yeah,
So-
he just like kind of sidesteps it like a boxer, and he's like on his feet with his swords in hand.
Oh yeah, you dodge out of its way expertly. Then it's gonna stay there. And then it's the vine mass's turn, and some more of those vines raise up from the floor and kind of try to bludgeon at you again, Lyris. As that happens,
Is
it's
there
gonna.
any chance its ally is providing me with cover?
Unfortunately not. It's a large creature, and it can very much reach around it.
That's
But
what I
good.
figured, but it was worth asking.
It was absolutely worth asking. Let's see. Wrong stat block. So that's going to be a 14.
Miss. My studded leather kind of absorbs the blow and just, oh, that was close.
Ugh.
Okay.
It's gonna bruise, but no real harm done. But now it is your turn.
Yeah, okay. Well, swords up, coming down on the tendril puppet in front of me. That is 19.
19 will hit.
Right. And it has Hunter's Mark on it and has taken damage.
Yes, it does. All of that is true.
Okay, so that's going to be plus 5 is 20 piercing damage.
Woo! That's a good hit. You
That's a
just
good one.
and you get more than that, don't you?
I have 2 more attacks.
It's still that was a really sizable hit on it. It staggers a little bit at that, but it's not quite close to falling apart yet.
All right, well, that's a 21 to hit,
Yeah, that'll hit.
and that's going to be another 15 piercing damage.
Ooh. You can see with that second hit, a lot of the vines that have been sort of crawling up this thing's leg just starting to come undone as you're doing some pretty severe damage also to the main body of this creature.
It's still standing, though?
Not by a lot, but it is still up.
All right, so he brings his blades down into it, and then seeing that it's still, like, moving, he pushes it back a little bit, draws his blades out, and then goes in for one more quick slash. Let's see what we can do. That's a nat 20.
Woo!
Yee.
Yeah, I think your minimum damage on that will bring it down. So just roll to see how much you do for fun, and
I'm
then tell me how
curious,
you want to
yeah.
bring this down.
And so 17 plus 5, 22 piercing damage.
Yeah, that's almost 3 times as much damage as you needed. So please describe.
Yeah, so he pushes off of it, and as it's off balance, he draws back and just slices right through its center with his right-handed blade. And as it falls to the floor, he then looks up at the big mass and draws his sigil in the air to pull it from the dead tendril puppet onto the main vine mass.
Very nice.
And that's end of turn. That felt good. After that first round of combat, that
was a
felt
little
much
rough.
better.
All right. That's Tendril Puppet 2's turn, and it's gonna there's a big disco ball that just tried to bean it with a hammer, so it is going to bring again one of its fists back as you see some thorns grow out of its knuckles, and it swings again wildly at Cam. It does, 14 does not hit, man.
I have good armor class.
Yeah, you do.
What is your AC?
18.
Oh, dang. Yeah, that's pretty good.
But let's see, I don't
17.
think no bonus actions that this thing can do. So yeah, that is gonna be Cam now.
All right.
Cutting them in half works really well.
Noted. She's going to bring down her hammer again. If I can remember how to use anything. Okay, there we go. That is a 19 to hit this time with the warhammer.
You going for the puppet?
Yes.
That'll hit.
9 damage.
Very nice.
And she's going to also bring her spiritual weapon back down on it. I think that's probably a miss, a 10.
10 does not hit. And so in trying to coordinate these strikes, you hit it real hard with your warhammer, knocking it backwards a little bit over the swing of your spiritual weapon.
Yeah, I did it at like the same time instead of doing it one after another. That'll be the end of her turn.
All right, Wade.
True. Fire didn't work so well, which was sad. Wade's really sad. So maybe Lyris's idea of cold will work. But maybe something else. Maybe we just ignore that and go straight for psychic damage. I'm gonna mind whip. Should I do it level 3? Why not?
And you're going after Mind Mass?
Yes. So that's an intelligence save of 15.
Well, Wade, I'm going to tell you that it got a -1.
Okay. Then that will
That's
be
a crit then, right?
Yeah, we established before that we get like a bonus when it's in the negative.
That is 14 psychic damage, and by the rules of it failing, it only gets a move, action, or bonus action.
Okay. Very nice. Restricting that action economy.
And then I'm just gonna head back here again.
Classic wizard.
Bear in mind, we know that wall won't stop one of its attacks.
Oh, that's what happened.
But you do have cover. Yeah, so that's to the Vine Mass's turn. It's an action, a bonus action, or a movement. It is going to use you can see it, like Wade lashes out at it with psychic energy, and it kind of like shakes and recoils a little bit. Then it continues shaking and like roils a little bit, and then it seems like there's a bulge that's forming on it, and it's another one of the tendril puppets bursts out of it over here.
It's spawning these things.
Gonna be all that it can do, thanks to the mind whip.
Glad for that, at least. Fuck. Okay. Well, yeah, we definitely need to focus our fire on the Vine Mass then.
All right. That's going to be its turn. And Lyris, you are up.
All right. Well, I have moved my Hunter's Mark to it. I'm going to run forward and start swinging away, just like last time. That's an 18.
18 will hit.
Has it taken damage already? It did, right?
It has taken damage, yeah. Not a huge amount, but
damage is
that
damage.
doesn't matter.
That is 14 piercing damage on the first one.
Very nice.
Second attack is 22 to hit
22 will hit.
and 11 piercing damage.
Very nice.
And then 10 to hit.
10 will not hit.
Yeah, so he comes up and gets them in, not quite as deep as he was hoping for, and as he pulls back to swing again, Vine just kind of deflects his blade away. Oh, this thing is tough.
Any bonus actions, or is that your third attack?
No, actually, it's not, but I don't really have any other bonus action things I can do at the moment.
Fair enough. On to Tendril Puppet 2 then, who's got one thing that it can do, and it's going to try and punch Cam with that.
Let's go.
Shields up, baby.
Wow, that one gets through. That's an 18 plus 4.
Okay.
How is Cam looking?
She hasn't taken any damage yet.
Okay.
It's her first
never
time.
mind. You can hold off that.
Lyris on the other hand.
I took
All
one
right.
good hit, but I'm still okay.
All right, there's the dice I'm looking for. Yeah,
I also
so
have regenerating temp HP, so
this thing, Cam, hits you pretty hard, harder than you were expecting. I would
I see
venture to say.
sparkles, and not
Yeah.
the fun kind.
So that's going to be 17 points of bludgeoning damage. This thing just absolutely split between bludgeoning and piercing damage. This thing wallops you with a spiked fist.
Yeah, she's like, if Wade is watching this situation, she seems like dazed by what just happened.
Lyris would like instinctively put an arm out behind her to keep her steady on her feet.
Yeah, she feels that, and it kind of like snaps her back. And she's like, "We gotta focus our damage."
Yeah, we can't be fighting these things all day.
But on that, it is now your turn, Cam.
It was the puppet in front of me that did that, correct?
Yes. The one
I
that just spawned near Lyris hasn't moved yet.
Winning seconds.
and let me see here. I just need to make sure everything makes sense. Spiritual weapon is not concentration. That's an action. Okay, so what I think Cam is going to do this turn is she's going to, her head just kind of like snaps back, and you see her eyes and mouth just kind of radiate this like golden light for a moment, and I'm gonna use Radiant Soul, which is not gonna be great for this turn, but hopefully next turn. But she's going to then bring her spiritual weapon into the back of this puppet, which is a 25 to hit.
Hell yeah.
And she's going to do max damage on that. So that's
Nice.
12 plus the additional 5 that she gets from her radiant light. So she does
Nice.
17 back.
Nice.
she just like suddenly gets this burst of energy and like brings her spiritual weapon behind
Yeah.
it.
This you hit this thing just as hard as it hit you, and it is starting to look a little rough.
Great. That is the end of her turn. She also has like now like these like black sort of like speckled golden wings behind her.
Stunning.
So Puppet 3 gets its turn now. And it moves to come into as close as it can with Lyris over here, and tries to give you an equally powerful wallop, and is that's 13 does not hit, does it?
That does not hit.
These things hit hard, but they're pretty slow. So it takes a swing at you, misses. Wade, that is going to be you.
Mind Whip was pretty good. Pretty good. Not high on damage, but you know, we can switch it up a bit here. Not really. I just got Chromatic Orb and Mind Whip, and that's about it. Yeah, we'll do Chromatic Orb at 3rd level.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
And see again at Divine Mass and see if that and fire didn't seem to do much. Take Lear's and try cold damage this time. Does a natural 20 hit?
Yeah, natural 20 hits.
And you did it at 3rd level. Oh shit, that's a lot of the fucking dice.
I love Shanks' Pikachu surprise.
So when it says critical damage, is that added to the first roll? It says cold damage and then cold critical damage. I'm assuming you add the two. Yeah, you add the two.
It looks
That's
like
a 47
Whoa.
cold damage.
Yeah, as you know, Wade times this release of this chromatic orb just as the massive vines is reaching up a tendril to strike, and just this explosion of cold inside of it as some of the vines ice over.
Yeah,
Very nice hit.
Be my turn.
All right. Then back to the top of this. It's this thing's turn now. It didn't like that very much, but it can't get to you. So yeah, it's gonna go for the person that's right in front of it that's been stabbing it.
Yep,
and
that checks out.
Bring up 2 of its tendrils to try and slam you in the side with them. Okay, those are all right. 16?
Miss.
Hey, but 21, I'm sure it does hit.
21's gonna get me. So like,
Can I yell out silvery barbs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
And then-
natural one.
yes.
And then,
So
then I'll
Lear's
return.
does like a boxer leap to the left and dodges the vine, and then as another one's coming in, he's like seeing it like it's massive to him. There's no way to avoid it, and suddenly magically he just feels himself
Yes.
moving. What just happened?
Good use of silvery barbs.
And then and then Lyris will just feel like this, just like this amped up feeling as he gets advantage on its next roll.
Nice. Let's see if it gets its puppet ability back. It doesn't.
Happy for that.
And that's Lyris's turn.
Yeah, baby. Let's do this. So my first attack is going to be with advantage. That's a nat 20.
That'll hit.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Fuck
yeah.
you, plant.
At this point, Cam remembers she can communicate with.
Yeah. The first thing she does is says "fuck you" to this plant.
It kind of looks at you like,
Yeah.
but actually make an insight check if you're actually doing that.
Plus, what do I have? 7, 15.
You kind of feel like it understood you.
So my first attack is going to be 33 piercing damage.
That's a good old hit right there. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, he like leaps for it and just buries his sword to the hilt in it. And that's going to be a 10 to hit.
10 does not hit.
And then a 12 to hit.
12 does not hit.
Well, you know what? I'm happy about the first one. It's fine. So he like
That's a
leaps
good
into it,
hit.
and then as he's like trying to like climb up it with his other sword, he just can't find purchase. So he just
It's-
leaps back off to his
It's
feet.
fighting you with these tendrils.
Well,
Alright.
I had something really magical going on there at first, but I seem to have lost it.
All right, and then that tendril puppet behind you is gonna try and punch you again since it worked so well for it the first time. That's gonna be a dirty 20. Man,
It's gonna hit me.
this guy.
Okay.
So,
okay.
oh, that is the wrong stat block. It's gonna be 12 bludgeoning damage and 4 piercing damage for a total of 16.
Wait, didn't that puppet just go before me? Oh no, that was the vine mass. Sorry.
Divine mass.
Yeah,
This divine mass.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what was the total?
16.
16?
16 total.
Ooh, boy.
That's
Yeah. How's Lyris looking?
you know, he's hurt. It's clear, but he's still okay. Like, he's a tough guy. He takes it in the back and he just kind of like swings out at it, trying to swat it away so he can focus in. He's still got it.
Ooh.
All right. Cam, that is your turn.
Uh-huh. Sure. Cam is seeing that these things are pretty tough. She's going to then, her eyes are still glowing. She's got her hand on her weapon, but she's going to take her holy symbol in her hand and she is going to cast spirit guardians, and she's gonna make her friends safe from it. And so they need to make a save for me, I believe.
Is it now or is it on their turn when they start their
It
turn?
might
there?
be on the turn. What enters the area for the first time or starts their turn there?
Yeah, so it would be both.
Okay, yeah, it entered the area. Dex?
That is a good question.
don't think it's
Wisdom.
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 Okay, so I think that gets all 3 of them.
Yes, 15 feet.
Yeah, so, oh, well, with the negative, that's going to be a 13 for the one in front of you.
Fail.
15 for the one behind Lyris.
That passes.
And the vine mass, it's a 5.
Nice.
Nice indeed.
Okay, so that is 3d8. 3, 10, 14. So that's 14 radiant damage, or half for the ones that passed,
Got it.
I think.
That
Yep.
Out of curiosity,
that one
what
that's
is
right in
Cam's-
front of you, Cam, is
Sorry? 2 people talk to me. What?
go ahead, Shanks.
I was just gonna say, what? Out of curiosity, what does Cam's spirit guardians look like?
So I wasn't gonna say because I think I used this spell before and I don't remember what I made. But I would
It can be
imagine.
different.
I would imagine right now it looks like it kind of looks like a bunch of like golden unicorns just kind of like prancing around her head.
I love it.
Okay. Now what were you saying, David?
The one that is in front of you looks like it is barely hanging on.
Just like being chipped up by these these unicorns.
Those little unicorns just charging it and stabbing them with their spiritual horns.
Just wait until it's turn.
Which is later. Anything else on your turn, Cam?
That was my action. Oh, actually, it takes another 5 damage, I think, because of my radiant consumption
Oh shit!
thing. When I cast a spell or attack, I believe. God, I have too many things. You have 1 attack or spell deal 5 additional radiant damage. So I'm
Well,
going to do an extra 5 damage to that puppet.
In which case, how would you like your spiritual weapons to kill
Yeah,
this
it
puppet?
it seems like it's just like chipping away at it at first, and then one vicious little unicorn just like dives right through its head. And then so that was my action. Bonus action, I'm going to attack the vine mass with my spiritual weapon
Very nice.
for a 17 to hit.
17 will hit.
And that is 11 damage.
11. This thing's looking pretty wounded as well. As there's like the shape that it's been holding, it's having a little bit of a difficult time replacing the vines that y'all are cutting off of it.
Cam is like, she's kind of winded, but you can just tell that she's just like she's like sweaty and like her glitter is glistening even more, and she's now shifted her focus towards this vine mass that is attacking them.
Very nice. Then you... Yes. So that is going to then be Wade's turn.
Hi, it's Wade again. He says as he casts another mind whip at it.
All right.
That's a 15
Hello?
int save.
3.
Oh, okay. Well, that's 12 psychic damage, and it only gets to choose the same for movement, action, or bonus action.
Marvelous. Because it is its turn, and I need to read something then. Your reaction, just move action, not a successful. Okay, yeah, it doesn't limit anything about the number of attacks it can take with that action. Cool. Yeah, Lyris, you've caused it the most damage, so it is going to use its action to actually does not get the puppet ability back again. Very nice. So it is going to try and it's going to use its multi-attack on you, Lyris,
Okay.
as it has been doing. Let's see if it can hit you this time.
I understand.
Let's see. I think, let's see, 13. Only one of them hits again. You successfully dodge the first one, which again hits a 16.
Nice.
So
And-
if I just happen to cast another silvery barbs.
You can try.
Yeah, I'll do that.
That second roll was actually higher, so it still hits.
No.
It's them, you know.
But that's okay. It can only use its engulf ability if it hits you with both attacks.
Okay.
That's
something.
a relatively low roll. That's gonna be an 8 points of bludgeoning damage as it whips at you with vines again.
All right. Well, unfortunately, I have not regenerated my scale since I last got hit. So, yeah, you see you see Lyris get bludgeoned like crazy, and he's just like, "Oh, all right, I'm feeling a little hurt now."
Do you need some help?
But it is Lyris's turn.
Maybe
With
once I'm
advantage.
done here, and as he says that, his scales regrow around his body, and yeah, I'm gonna freaking leap at him. Did you happen to give me
Advantage? Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I appreciate it because that at least gave me a 22.
That'll hit.
That first hit is going to be a resounding 19 piercing damage.
How would you like to unmake this vine mass?
Yeah, so as he leaps at this thing, he once again like dives forward with both blades, digs them in, and then like pulls out and kicks off at the same time and leaps into the air and just digs one in and pulls all the way down, splitting it like down the middle.
Very nice. As you cut this thing almost in half. The tendril puppet behind you takes a few faltering steps towards you as though it's trying to reach out and swing towards you, but two falls onto the ground as well, no longer moving.
Well, you know, Wade, you were right.
He's gonna peek around the corner. Are you okay in there?
I broke 6 of my ribs, but I'm okay.
That's such a Shanks thing to say too. He would definitely say that.
Oh,
You
only a
only-
severe concussion, but I'll be okay.
Were you gonna say, Wade?
It seems as though you have handled the threat.
So these tendril puppets, do they look like fake people or people, real people?
That is a good question. Make a medicine check for me, if you will.
While he's doing that, Cam goes over to Lyris and she goes, "Hey," and like holds out her hands.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just going to basically patch myself up, but
I just a little bit. It doesn't take much for me, so she's
Thanks.
going to lay her hands, and you just kind of see this like golden sort of magic transfer from her hands. I'm gonna use her ASMR ability to give you 5 HP back, and then she says, I have more in me if you need, but maybe for now.
that's plenty for now. Thank you. At least I feel like I can move without puncturing a lung now.
Yeah, she actually probably put it like, if you said that you broke your rib, she probably went like that.
It was a 19 medicine check, by the
The
way.
19 on a medicine check, yeah, it looks like these were real people at some point.
Ooh,
Do
that's
any
not
of them
good.
resemble Broxl?
No, neither of them. Broxl was some sort of lizard folk, and none of the 3 of these creatures have scales.
They all seem to come out of this fine mass. Is there anybody else, any other remains inside of it?
Oh, I did
If
split it
you
open.
take a minute to cut, yeah, if you take a minute to go through it, I'll let you keep that 19 on the medicine check for that. There appears to be like one more body somewhere inside of it. Again, not lizard folk. Looks like this might have been an elf in here, judged on the ears.
Well, I mean, there's no Broxl, so I don't know if that's good or bad news.
Well, it just means that we have to follow the trail of blood. But at least it looks like this area is now safe for further investigation.
Wade is going to cast prestidigitation on his hands to clean them.
Is there any signs of this substance you left with him here at the base of this creature? I don't know what I'm looking for, so.
Would we do like an investigation or something to see if there's like any Skelgy presence in this fine mass?
Yeah, Make an investigation check for me. Someone can do it with advantage, or y'all can all roll your own.
That's a 16.
16. It looks like, and it's kind of difficult to tell, but there is. It looks like there might be some of the substance that is incorporated into this creature, but there is like a thick moss, which is very reminiscent of this substance, but a little bit more set. Like Jello that's had enough time in the fridge, growing up the walls of this room.
Maybe a little bit of it. Well, you can come back here. We should probably look for Broxl through that window.
Yes, that's dealt with. I think looking to preserve life is probably our best option.
He did jump into a barrel of it.
I'm surprised he isn't a vine mass.
Cam's gonna use a locate object, I think, and look for the like specific barrel that we left with Broxl.
Wow.
Yes, clever.
You're good, you.
Yeah, so you ping up locate object, and what's the range on that? It's like a quarter mile or something.
It's 1,000 feet.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, it pings up. The barrel is, if you follow locate object, it is in the room directly to the north, kind of that door near where the trail of blood ended.
Cam's gonna go, oh, I think, and she's that's all she says, and she like heads that way. I think
Oh, God, that's big.
Yeah, that was bright. Does it seem like it's intact when she sees it?
It is intact, but otherwise empty.
She looks into it. Oh, Wade, this is the barrel that we left. There's nothing left in it.
Well, I believe whatever experiment Broxl had been conducting probably led to, then he points to everything this.
Gestures broadly.
Okay, but why isn't Broxl here? Like, I understand being afraid, but then everyone else is concerned about him and looking for him. Why go out the window?
Perhaps he was cornered by those puppet people.
Oh, yeah. We should be quick then.
What did you say the trail looked like when he went out the window there, Lyris?
Well, I can see he went out. That's about all I can see from here. But DM, I would like to go outside and see if I can pick up the trail out there.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah. Make a survival check, and yeah.
13.
13. It's it's difficult to pick up the trail from here since you can see a couple of footprints underneath some of this growth, but it looks like the growth has come after the footprints and has disturbed the ground and covered up with leaves and brush, and a lot of the techniques you would normally use to track have been undone by what amounts to a decade of plant growth overnight.
I can't quite pick it up here. Perhaps we should investigate the path for blood when we get the opportunity. But on that note, should we maybe take a few minutes, catch our breath, or do you want to hastily look for Broxl?
I imagine finding him sooner rather than later is probably important.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm sure we can manage it so long as he's not somewhere with another one of these things.
That is a good point.
Still, I still have some healing available, and
I have a potion for that. Can help a little bit.
well, good to know. Should we need it, I will happily imbibe. But
Would you perhaps prefer to have it on your person? You seem to be more in the middle of these things.
if you're offering, I wouldn't refuse. All right, I will take your. I take it it's a standard healing potion.
Potion of healing worth 50 gold pieces.
All right.
Now the standard healing.
I will put that in my inventory, and yeah, we are in overtime here. DM, what do you want to do?
We are. We are at 9:30 here, so I think we'll pick it up in 2 weeks with the search for Broxl, or whatever other shenanigans you may get into.